Well, good afternoon. We're glad to have you here. We apologize for the delay. We had some technical issues, but I would like to introduce Jean Ketcham, our CEO, who is going to be the primary spokesperson today. So welcome, Jean.
Thank you, Pat. And we have with us today my dear young friend, Steph Opitz. And we're going to talk to her today about, and Steph, I don't know whether I say you're in charge but you're putting on this book festival in May here in Minneapolis. And I want you to talk about that because we get so many authors through Aging But Dangerous. And you and I had coffee the other morning, and I was telling you about how many authors we get and people talking about books all the time. And this is such a huge thing, and I want to share it with everyone. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, so I am starting a book festival in Minneapolis called WORDPlay, May 11th and 12th, 2019. And the way I usually describe book festivals is it's sort of like going to a music festival. There's a lot of stages and there's authors talking about their books. There's authors who might just be speaking on their own or in conversation with another person who has a book that might be similar in theme or in style. And people in the audience can ask questions, and there'll be indoor and outdoor venues, books for the whole gamut of readers. We'll have fiction, nonfiction, poetry, children's books, young adult books. So yeah, a little something for everyone.
And it just sounds so exciting. And Steph, tell everybody a little bit about your background.
So I'm from Minneapolis, but I lived away the last almost 15 years. I was working in publishing in Los Angeles and then in New York. And in New York, I got involved in the Brooklyn Book Festival, and I've been doing that for about 10 years. And then I moved to Texas and was helping run the Texas Book Festival, which is one of the largest book festivals in the country. It's about 300 authors and 50,000 people attend that annually. And when I was there, I had so much fun, and I just kept thinking, I wish I could be doing this at home. So I feel so lucky to be in Minneapolis now and being able to bring this huge book party home. I think that I'm a big reader myself, and I have, a long laundry list of why I think reading is important. But I think that the easiest way to get people excited about books is to have a party to do it, and bring the whole family and have kids there seeing their parents excited about books and strangers excited about books. And I always say, reading is a pretty private experience, but often when you finish a book that you love, the first thing you want to do is talk to somebody about it. So let's get all the book lovers together in the same place and talk about the books that we love and get excited about books that are coming out and meet the authors behind the magic.
And I know I love that whole idea. And this is something, Steph, that I could bring my little granddaughters to, 11 and 14, and their mother, who's my daughter. She loves to read. But I was telling you the other day that my little 11-year-old, she is just reads all the time. And she would just love something like this. And they could come in from Chicago. I mean, this is something that I think, like you said, families, everybody, I just am very, very excited about this and sharing it with everyone. So those are the kinds of people. It's just for all kinds of people. And oh gosh, Steph, what a great place to have it in Minneapolis, which is exactly what we're all about here is the whole family thing. And then, authors. And Pat, I think you had a couple of questions.
Yes, I was asking earlier about many of our women are looking to write their memoirs or have book ideas or are already published authors and maybe could be featured in this event and be part of it. Plus, the other thing I was just thinking about is we have a number of women who either have just recently formed book clubs or are looking to start a book club. And I wondered if there would be any activity or workshop or whatever around that. So there are a lot of questions. And then, of course, I was at the opening of the Loft, which I know is the venue that you're looking at. And tell us a little bit about that, Steph. So there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll start with the Loft. So the Loft hired me to launch and direct this. The Loft is one of the oldest, most celebrated literary nonprofits in the country, and they've been around for, I think, 46 years. And the location that they're in now in downtown Minneapolis, they've been there 18 years. So that will be one of our venues, as will the Guthrie Theater and Mill City Museum. And we'll be closing down some of the streets between those places and having some outdoor tents. So the Loft has a long history of serving writers at any age, any stage in their writing process. So we'll definitely be celebrating that aspect of the Loft, while in addition to that, bringing in readers of all types of, people who maybe don't necessarily have a desire to write themselves, but love reading. And it's obviously good to get readers in front of all those writers. In terms of, if people wanted to submit their own work for consideration for the festival, if you go to the website loftwordplay.org, there's information about how to submit books and what books are eligible for consideration. The book festival will be celebrating new books. So there's a limit as to how long ago the book can be published. So if it's January 2018 up until May 2019, it can be eligible for consideration. And all the details are at loftwordplay.org. And, in terms of getting information, if you're a, aspiring writer or, maybe already have a book under your belt but are interested in, getting inspired for ideas or process, I think, if you're a memoirist and there's two memoirists in conversation at the festival talking about their new books, that can be a really inspiring experience for an author to hear about, how somebody else did it, what their approach was, the challenges that they faced, maybe what they initially sought out to write about, but then changed course because the book just took a different direction. I mean, I feel like at book festivals I've been at in the past, I'm always hearing from other writers who are just think it's so wonderful to hear colleagues talk about how they've approached their projects, particularly, those that have found a lot of success. And like the Loft does year round, we'll have some workshops during the festival for people. So we'll have some of our, big name authors doing like 2 or 4 hour classes on things like point of view or, editing or revision. And we'll hopefully have some editors and publicists talking about those aspects of working on a book as well. So there's sort of, a lot of ways that, your writers could access this festival and feel like it was beneficial to them. And then in terms of book clubs, I always attend book festivals with the plan of figuring out what book club books would be great for the next year. It's a great way to sort of be like, go with your book club, see a bunch of different authors speak and say like, okay, I think we found 3 or 5 or 12 books that we're going to try to read in the next year. I think that it's so special feeling when you've heard an author talk about their book, even if you haven't read it yet, because you feel this special connection to the work before you read it. And while you're reading it, you're like, oh yeah, they were talking about how they did all this research and had to go to Croatia to, retrace some family history for this, or, just that kind of special once in a lifetime information that you can access because you're in the audience and somebody asks a question or the author brings it up, or you yourself ask a question to that person and you can even meet them afterwards. And, that's a really special experience to bring back to your book club or to attend with your book club.
Pat, this is so exciting. This is, I'm sure what's going through your mind is what's going through my mind. We've heard from so many authors lately, and it's very exciting to share this with them. I just heard from somebody the other day that's in, she's this PR person that has all these authors. And this will be so great to share this with all those people.
Yeah, awesome.
I agree, Jeannie. Steph, will there be anything there for independent publishing or self-publishing?
Yeah, we will have, I mean, if somebody self-published a book, they can absolutely still submit that book for consideration. We're right now in the process. I mean, submissions just opened a few weeks ago. So I don't know yet what authors we have coming or what kind of discussions that will result in, because I really like to curate the festival based on who's coming, not try to force themes and then find people to sort of, put a square peg in a circle hole or whatever that expression is.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of what will be available for self-published authors, there will be something. I don't know what that will be. And it might end up that there'll be some workshops on self-publishing, or we'll have authors who have self-published their books. And then at a very sort of standard level, we also have exhibitor and vendor areas. So if somebody self-published a book and wanted to come sell it, they could look at potentially being an exhibitor there. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities like that. And if we hear from people that there's a really big desire for, a workshop or conversation about self-publishing, we would respond to that, and make that work.
Great. Bless you, Jeannie.
Yeah, thank you. It sounds to me like there's a little bit there's a little bit there for everybody. I mean, it's very wide. I mean, it's, gosh, Steph, very, very exciting. Pat, did you have any more questions?
Well, I have two questions. One of them, Jeannie, is about Aging But Dangerous, having a kind of a long side event and getting our authors from across the nation to fly into town and take part of this event and have what do you call those things where you, a gathering,
like a meetup
for the authors as well.
Yeah.
Don't you think that would be fun?
Yeah, it would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah. Well, and then, okay.
Go ahead.
Anything else, Pat?
Yes. What I wanted to talk a little bit about Kickstarters, because my understanding is that it's really important for people to share and to help drive this Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
This is the meat of the whole thing right here, everyone, is that we've got to help Steph get some money in here. And she is on the Kickstarter program, and you go into, if anybody's like me, I have to know right from scratch exactly everything what I'm supposed to do. So you go to Kickstarter.com and you put in WORDPlay, right, Steph?
Yep.
And then that takes you to it. Now she's only got couple more weeks, everyone, to raise this money. And so we really want to do this, really want to help her as much as we can, because this sounds like such a phenomenal festival. And for everyone, writers, authors, people that want to write, my little granddaughter, everyone. So I think it's just so important. She's halfway there, and I just think we're going to be able to help her get there in the next 2 weeks. And like you said, Steph, it's just anything helps. Anything helps.
I think, so with the Kickstarter, we're fundraising to launch this festival. And, we're doing it on a budget, but it's not free to put on this stuff and close down streets and get authors in town. So we do need some support in that. But like you said, any little amount really helps, because in addition to the amount that we're trying to fundraise, to be able to say, there's X number of people who are already supporting this festival is as huge as we're, getting community buy-in on this. And for us to be able to say, I've been talking with the mayor of Minneapolis, and I've been trying to get sponsorships, and to be able to say to them, X number of people really want this to happen, no matter the amount that those folks are giving, is
Mhm.
incredibly significant to us. But I
Mhm.
will say, if you are interested in looking at the perks, so part of the thing with Kickstarter is that if you donate, you can select a perk that you would receive. And some of those perks, particularly if you're an author, are really significant because we have this all-star editor from Riverhead, one of the greatest publishers at Penguin Random House imprint, who will read some of your manuscript and give a critique on that. That's one of the perks you can get. There's a copy editor, like the chief copy editor at Penguin Random House will copy edit work for you. You can also donate and get your name in one of Curtis Sittenfeld's next novels or J. Courtney Sullivan's next novels. There's a lot of authors who have donated naming a character, which I think is such a fun one. I mean, you could name it after yourself, but you could also say, Benjamin Percy, who's a wonderful author, said that if you name one of the characters in his book, that person's probably going to die. So I would reserve that for maybe like a nemesis, not yourself. But there's a lot of fun things on there that you could get with your donation. So that's a fun way to look at it too.
Oh my gosh, that sounds fantastic. I think have a character.
We also have a writing prompt calendar on there. So each month there's a writing prompt and a book recommendation from a famous author. So Gregory Pardlow, who won the Pulitzer Prize 2 years ago, Sloane Crosley, New York Times bestselling author, Tom Perrotta, who wrote the show The Leftovers, well, the novel and then the show, have all given prompts for different months. So there's all sorts of things on there that could pique your interest if you wanted to do that.
Well, we're going to have this on our website. We're going to have it on Facebook, and it's going to be in our newsletter. So it's going to reach a lot of people. So everyone out there,
let's kickstart this.
Yeah, let's kickstart this, and let's go. The key word is wordplay. So let's get this thing going, and let's have this in May 11th and 12th. And
mark your calendars and get to Minneapolis.
Yeah. Okay, Steph, thank you so much for being on. I really wanted to do this. Yeah, I just when I heard about it, I thought, boy, what a perfect thing for Aging But Dangerous too, and all of our people. And I really wanted you to be on here. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Okay.